Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson. This is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
So tonight we are reviewing a new movie that came out this year called Stream, obviously. Yep. And it's produced by... Yeah, it's produced by the one of the guys is also the makeup artist, one of the makeup artists, who also worked on Terrifier. And there's an actor in here that's also in the Terrifier. Well, actually, there's two actors that were in Terrifier. And, of course, one of his... Well, both of them are well-known, obviously. And there's a lot of well-known individuals in this one, which you may have seen in other horror-related movies here and there.
But I'll mention a few people shortly. Now, right, produced by yada, yada, yada. Okay. There's a whole slew of people. This was an Indiegogo funding sort of thing, and they raised $180,000 to make this. I don't know how much they spent. I've got no budget figures. I don't know what the box office did, or you're probably still box officing. I don't know. But anyway, irrespective. Produced by Stephen Della Sala, Michael Levy, Jason Levy, Phil Falcone, Damien Leone, George Stuber, Marcus Slabine, and Joe Patrick Marshall. Directed by Michael Levy. Written by Michael Levy, Robert Privatera, Jason Levy, and Stephen Dalla Sala. Everyone's got their hand in the pie here, haven't they? Right. I'll give you some actors in a minute. Now, there's no box office or anything. It's a recent release. It did go theatrical, but there's no box office.
I think it went to Netflix, directly to Netflix, or Shudder.
It says it released theatrically. So that indicates it may have gone to cinemas. I don't know. But I don't know anything on the budget or anything, so I can't tell you that. Which I love money.
Hey, don't go that far.
No, it's about the money part. So it is making money for them, but I like to know it's actually making money, and I think it will. It's a good one. Now, getting onto the players, lots of different guys, and Sarah will probably jump in here occasionally. Oh, that person's down to so and so. Yeah, okay, right. Okay, Jeffrey Combs plays Mr. Lockwood.
You may know him from Reanimator.
Yeah, he takes over. He doesn't break out. He imprisons and then kills the manageress of a motel, and he takes over for the night. Charles Edwin Powell plays Dad, Roy Keenan. Tim Reed plays Bernard Davidson, a retired policeman. Deeg Wallace plays Linda Spring, the owner of the hotel. She hasn't got a short part. Yeah. Well, she gets terminated. Anyway, lots of other people do too. Wesley Holloway plays Kevin Keenan, the son of Roy Keenan. He's a good little actor. Yeah.
I see a promising career for him.
Right, let's look at... Sydney Malekeh, Malakeh, as Taylor, the daughter of Roy Keenan. Okay,
I'm not too fond of her.
No, she's playing an uppity 16-year-old daughter's going through, hey, old as I freaking like attitude. Yeah, that's okay. She's playing a role. Jason Levy plays Player One. Now, Player One, these are the guys who are out there trying to kill people in the motel.
Yeah, I think that he's related to the director. So he might be a cousin or a brother or both.
Wait a minute.
I've been trying to look him up and stuff, but I can't seem to find anything about him.
Give me a minute. Let's have a look. Jason Levy is one of the producers.
Yeah, I know that, but is he related to Michael Levy? Is what I'm saying.
Well, they're both here as producers, but you think they're brothers, maybe?
Maybe they're brothers or cousins, or they're brothers or cousins.
Or change the name by deed poll. And Jason Levy plays Player One. David Howard Thornton, you know him, guys. Come on, where did he come from, Sarah?
He was in Terrifier. He plays Art the Clown. And he was also in the Mean Ones, which was also a theatrical kind of character. And the interesting thing here is his character is very theatrical, very expressive.
Yes, a bit like Art the Clown.
Yeah. So he kind of brings a little Art the Clown into this role.
Brings a bit of art into his role.
Okay, moving on. So, who else?
Liana Paraglia plays player 3. And Mark Haynes plays player 4. They got 4 antagonists running around trying to beat up on the people. Okay, Daniel Roebuck plays Howard. I won't go too far down the line here. Mark Holton plays Oswald Hanson. Felissa Rose plays Donna.
Yes,
now,
that's a familiar face. Or
come on, Donna.
Well, she's in Sleepaway Camp and has become an icon in the industry.
Yeah, and Sleepaway Camp made a couple of spin-offs.
Yes, she made a few, and she also made a few independent roles here and there, including what recent independent slasher, Sleepaway Camp slasher, or reference whatever that she made an appearance in that one, obviously, and. Well, let me see. She has made a lot of other appearances, probably in also those HorrorCon type events where you attend, obviously, in America. I've never been to a HorrorCon myself because most of the events we have up here is mostly Supernova, and that's more for the sci-fi convention stuff.
Anyway, okay, Danielle Harris plays Elaine Keenan, Roy's wife. I mentioned about 2 or 3 other people. Tony Todd. Now, this is one reason why we want to do this one. We're a couple of weeks behind. I had a moment. This is today. We're doing this the 12th of November, but you'll probably see us later in the month.
Yeah.
Tony Todd passed away the other day, and we're doing this partly as tribute to him, but partly because it's a good movie as well.
Yeah.
But good old Tony, he'd be sorely missed.
This is his second last movie he would have done, and
another one in post-production at the moment. So but it hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, they'll probably come out in next month, I think, and then not next month, next year.
But anyway, now the other guy. Now I'll go back here. There's 3 guys called Lockwood. Jeffrey Combs plays Mr. Lockwood. He's the one who takes over the motel and runs the game. Tony Todd is referred to as Future Lockwood.
And
Tim Curry is referred to just as Lockwood, and he shows up a bit later on. But
yes,
we'll talk about that later on. But I think I won't mention anybody else there.
As you'll soon find out what we're talking about the Lockwoods and why they're have the similar name as we go along, obviously.
It's a code name, pretty much, for the
or
streaming.
An alias, obviously.
Your code name, alias, whatever, for the streaming they're doing.
The one Jeffrey Combs is playing in this one, he plays the main Lockwood in this one. You follow him throughout the movie, obviously, and...
Well, he's the main one.
Yeah, and so it may be an alias name, while their real name is covered by a fake
my
name.
name's Fred Smith or something or other, so Mr. Lockwood sounds quite nice.
Yes, it's sort of like a little crossover between, let me see, there's 3 movies that make me think of this. It makes me think of The Strangers and The Hostel and Purge. All of them have a little bits in parts. Mostly it deals with well, not really home invasion, because this is not taking place in a home invasion. It's more like
you're going to a motel, and guess what? It's lockdown.
Yes.
You're inside.
And the killers are going out on a killing spree
like a game.
In a game, if you will, like a Saw. Well, not like a Saw game. Obviously.
No, it's a game. Yeah. Last man standing sort of thing.
Yeah, and the whole Purge thing that comes. Well, the Hostel thing is more or less dealing with the wealthy people who are looking to bet or wager on survival.
Yeah, and once people get killed and stuff and everything. So, yeah, whatever. Yeah. So, anyway, do you want to get on to telling the story?
Sure.
Otherwise, we'll be here all night. Okay?
So the story opens with a woman at a hotel, I guess the owner, obviously, and she is getting her... She's cleaning up the hotel. She gets nabbed by Lockwood.
Well,
obviously.
we don't see his feet, but we think it's Lockwood.
Yeah, and of course that's the end of her. We then cross over to Roy, who lives with his kids, his wife, and he's trying to reconnect with his kids by taking them to a motel to stay in,
for a weekend or something.
And probably go to a theme park, which they never go to.
Yeah. He got an out-of-control daughter, 16 years old, getting in trouble with police and stuff. So they thought a weekend away or a couple of days away, reconnect with the family might be what they need.
Yeah, his youngest son, Kevin, is a bit of a...
an IT guy.
a techno whiz who prefers to stream on his video game thing than interact with his father. Anyway, he's all for the trip. Obviously, he's more aside from, he reminds me a little bit of my nephew a little bit. He's cute, and he kind of is agreeable to work, with everyone obviously around him.
Or tries to be.
Anyway, so we go back to the hotel where we then discover the guy named Lockwood is taking over the hotel, obviously.
Pretending to be the manager.
He kills the original owner, the lady, obviously, and he gets the place set up with teeny-weeny cameras.
Yep, because he's going to stream it, hence the name of the film.
Yes. Anyway, we also meet the other people that are going to be at the hotel. 2 Spanish, European guys.
I think they're French, actually.
Spanish or French guys.
I think they're French.
I'm not sure.
Whatever.
And we also meet, honeymooners who are there for a nice,
Rumpty-bumpty.
Whatever. And let me see. 3 other teenagers who are just there.
2 girls.
For a bit of a naughty weekend of sorts.
A threesome.
Nice. And let me see, who else am I thinking? Oh yeah, and a married couple who that will be Felissa Rose and her drunken husband.
Yeah, they're an interesting couple.
And a retired cop that we find out much more about his backstory later on.
He's a little bit closer to the game than you'd like to consider.
The family book in, obviously, and of course they cannot pay by credit card, so they had to pay by cash, which is unusual.
There's supposedly the computer system was down for the card, whatever, blah blah, usual crap,
And of course there's no Wi-Fi. The only people who are allowed Wi-Fi are the staff.
I know you figure out why. About why people can't contact the outside world.
Ooh, yes.
Their mobile phones wouldn't work there either.
Yes. There also is no phones when they book That's into true. The rooms. We learn later in the movie that there was no phone to be in the room, obviously. And of course, as they're settling in, of course, their daughter, what's her name again? Taylor.
Yeah.
She gets friendly with our European guys, especially a cute one, obviously, and she interacts with him and plans on taking him up to the roof for a bit of a smoke and a talk to.
Snuggle.
Yes. While this is happening, let me see. One of the cameras becomes damaged because of a drunken customer, obviously, and of course that leaves one room less. Well, not one room, actually. It's one hallway that will not be monitored throughout this movie. Anyway, so as they're settling in, our girl, Taylor, sneaks off from her family to interact with the guys and hopefully takes him out to a concert somewhere in wherever that might be, obviously. We don't know. It's a concert she really wanted to go, but her father, at the last minute took her and her family off to somewhere else, obviously. Anyway, meanwhile, while this is happening, Roy and his family are settling in, and of course, while this is happening, stuff starts to happen. Like some 4 figures are roaming the hotel, obviously, creeping out everyone, obviously. And here we get Roy, and eventually notices his daughter left, so he takes his son and tries to find out who's the last person who may remember where she went to, obviously. So he's gone to he kind of meets up with a few people in their rooms and asks them, have you seen my daughter recently? And of course the wife is left behind in her room, obviously. And while this is happening, we then meet the stalkers, or the players. They roam the hotel, and we get a few moments where we see on the cameras where they are throughout the scene.
Yeah, it helps.
Oh yeah, and one of the guys who was I think he was fixing a game machine. He was the first killed by a very strong type of individual, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
And we also get a few kills. I think that David and the female player in this, they sort of interact with one another. Like, according to the owner, Jeff, Blackwood, obviously. I mean, not Blackwood, Lockwood. He says that they're brother and sister team, obviously. So they kind of interact a lot in this one, obviously. Anyway, so eventually Roy meets the detective or police officer, and he tells him that something bad is happening at the motel. And of course, at first they do notice a lot of creepy stuff, like the killers roaming around, and eventually they realize they're in a life and death situation.
Exactly. You can't get all the doors are locked. The only I think windows and doors are locked. There's no known way out, except Taylor stuck out for a way she knew up onto the roof and got down a fire escape, but no one knows the way up there because she was shown that when she was younger by the previous manager lady who's dead now.
Yes.
So she was lucky, hey?
Yeah. A few people do get killed, including Roy's wife, obviously. He cries over her dead body, and he then goes to the detective, and he places his son inside his hotel room, obviously, where he plays video games. Of course, he's told to listen for the secret knock on the door, even though he's wearing earphones, which is
right. Like you're gonna hear a lot, you know.
Yeah, right. Anyway, but the kid eventually uses his computer hacking skills to hack the mainframe to the computer.
In the motel, and his
computer.
Whoops! And then Lockwood contacts him
iPad.
and says, "Oh, hello, little boy," or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, so he kind of found out that someone is hacking into their computer system, and all that stuff. Anyway, soon enough, they get an announcement from Lockwood, who says that they have 4 players, and the last person who survives the night will get a lot of money, obviously. Or if they don't survive the night, then I guess the players may get a cut in the money.
I don't know.
I don't know how that works, obviously.
It didn't come out. I thought the mean guys would be the ones that they'd kill off everybody, and they'd be the last one standing, the last 1, 2, 3, or 4, whatever, and they would actually get the money. Yeah. But the people they're killing would not be alive. Yeah,
because there was also, apart from Lockwood, we also have 2 other staff members who were setting up the place. Obviously, a bellhop and a guy who was doing the setting up the cameras. We never see again. Obviously.
Well, he got paid. He was paid to do the job,
so they may have been paid.
He got his money.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, eventually, the drunk guy, his wife, they get killed off, and those 3 teenagers I mentioned, they get killed off by the killers. Of course, Roy and the detective, they fight them off as best they can as they go along. Of course, his son Kevin, he escapes the room and to avoid the killers and hides in the kitchen, which reminds me of Jurassic Park.
Remember the kids in the kitchen and the velociraptor at the door going, I think, It sneaks in.
Killer 1 nearly comes close to actually killing him, but actually gets caught by his boss, leaving the boy alone.
All players need to come back. We have a problem. So they had to. He's left the little boy. I'll get you later. Yeah, I would have killed him before I left.
It was still a game to them, I guess, to an extent. So they're kind of abiding by the laws of the rules of the game, obviously, or their boss, obviously, like a video game, obviously. So anyway, when dear old Roy gets nearly close to getting killed by, I think, player 1, I think it was. He then finds out from the detective that the detective, once upon a time, used to be one of the players, and he wants to see this as an opportunity to get cash in on the billions and billions of dollars that might come into his bank account.
We don't know how much.
We don't know. Yeah. Anyway, he goes and leaves Roy and goes to Lockwood's office, where he watches as Roy struggles against him. And Roy was able to see, he was in the hallway where the camera that's been damaged. So he ends up going into that corner of the hallway to kill the player and take over his identity.
Put his jumpsuit on and his mask and different things and whatever. And Instant transformation.
Of course, unknown to dear old detective guy, he doesn't know that Lockwood's in the room with him because he replaced a dead body and another staff member over him. And he comes up behind him and stabs him and tells him that you were not the last player. The little boy is the most likely last player because he's still alive and hiding, obviously. So he would have won the billions of dollars, in the end, obviously. And he ends up getting killed anyway. Anyway, soon enough, both players are told to go to the kitchen to kill the boy. Because I think Lockwood hopes to cash in on the money. I don't know, because he seems to be he says that according to the detective, I think, I should have mentioned this earlier, that the detective knew about this game beforehand. Before he walked into the motel, he knew the game was on. Because he knew the game was on, and he wanted to rig the game by pretending to be one of the survivors, right? Yeah. But this dear old Lockwood caught onto his scheme and killed him because he didn't want the game to be fouled up by having him win, obviously. Anyway, so he sends the two remaining the players to retrieve the boy, obviously. I should mention the other foreigner guy, and also Taylor and the other guy, obviously, that she was with, were killed by player one, obviously. And, of course, she doesn't get fully killed. She was speared with him.
A shallow wound in her abdomen.
Yeah. She manages to get both the spear and her love interest off her, obviously. And then we later go back to the kitchen where dear old Roy, who finally finds his son in one of the kitchen cabinets, and tells him, it's me. He removes his mask briefly and manages to get to the side of the room so the camera won't see him, obviously. Anyway, he then tells him to play dead, like a dog, like a person telling you a dog.
And he's going to carry him out like a dead body. Yeah.
Of course, player two, which is David, obviously arrives and he prods the boy. You would think he would, but then again, he's got gloves on, so he could not feel if it's cold. He's cold or not.
He wouldn't be cold that fast. Okay.
Anyway, he has no wounds, and eventually, as he's heading out, dear old Lockwood kind of worked it out on the camera that by rewinding it, obviously, he saw that his briefly Roy's face, when he removed his mask. And he then warns player two that this is an imposter and kill him and the boy, obviously. Of course, thanks to both Roy and his son, they were able to fight him off and had him badly burnt from the stove, right?
Exactly.
Anyway, then they head back, through the lobby, and they're about to make their way out, but then they see Lockwood, who plans on, killing them, obviously. And, of course, as they're fighting, he reveals the fact that about the game, obviously, and how this is all about bets and stuff.
It's been going on for millennia.
Who knows?
Yeah, it's an ancient Roman times and everything else.
He goes on about the history of these things like Rome, Greece, and all the other
you're a gladiator,
stuff like that.
Whatever.
But luckily enough, Rory fights him off and defeats him, and he embraces his son briefly. Then we see a POV shot of behind him, and we think it's probably one of the players, but actually it's his daughter,
Taylor, and she thinks the guy in front of her little brother is one of the players who's going to try her little brother. So what does she do?
She stabs her father to death.
Yeah, if it was this pike or spears and the things she was carrying. Which
she quickly beckons to her brother to her, but then she yells at her saying, "You killed father." And then she looks down and sees her dead father lying there. She keeps begging for his forgiveness and that he'll be okay. But he reminds her that she was there to protect her brother and stuff like that. And he kind of sort of forgives her. But I don't know if the son will forgive her, obviously.
Well, it was an accident,
She then her father dies there. And then we see Lockwood, who's not completely dead, rises up and he tries to attack Taylor. Of course, once he's pinning her to the wall,
There's an axe or hatchet stuck to the wall.
Yeah. He gets distracted, and she takes the axe off and then knocks him, down, chopping his head off.
And heads will roll.
It's been a while since I've ever seen a beheading in these movies.
Very nice.
But it's nice to see that we're not all, out of practice. Anyway, soon enough, the next morning, we see some paramedics people arrive and police. I've even recognized one of the policemen who's Terry Alexandra, who was also in Day of the Dead, a zombie
Kelly
film.
Alexander.
Yeah, who's been in the Day of the Dead, George A. Romero's production from years ago. So it's nice to see another familiar face
Blast from the past.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, he tells her that everything will be all right, and then we see some of the paramedics are looking at their phones,
mobile phones,
watching
the stream.
The stream
Of all these people being killed in that motel. Well,
and
some have got bets.
Mm-hmm, yes.
They're betting on who was going to be the last person out.
Yes.
Who was going to survive.
Yeah.
And this guy's a big smile. He's, I saw the two kids. And guess what? He's a big smile, little money things kicking up on his phone and everything else.
Chicka.
Happy, joy.
Then we cross over to a hospital, we think, where Tony Todd as the new Lockwood.
Yeah, future Lockwood. Yeah.
Who he's on a web camera talking to it, telling about how dislikes hospitals, and he goes on to explain the new game, I guess, where it probably might
take. Starting.
Yeah. Where they kind of gasoline up the car,
Yeah, set fire to it.
Set fire to it.
We're speculating about that. Well, we think possibly the idea is they set fire to the car out in the car park, and then the security guys would run outside to see what was going on in the car park with the burning car.
Yeah,
and then the naughty guys would go in and lock the hospital down, so they've only got a handful of nursing staff at night and a shitload of patients.
Yeah. So meanwhile, while he's talking at the audience to us, we see the different members of society watching the stream, from low class to high class, to wealthy
and big groups of people, like in a club watching on a screen and stuff. Yeah. What are you doing?
Ready for the game to roll, if you might say. Then we watch as Tony Todd bids the audience farewell, and then we cut out. And then we get a post-credit scene where we see that a new game is taking place where a woman and a man are being...
shopping centre or somewhere?
No, I think it's more of a cinema.
Cinema, that's right,
Because it looks like a movie theatre.
No, it was a cinema, yeah.
And we see her getting attacked by a new player, and we also see another Lockwood who's confined to a wheelchair. Turns out it was Tim Curry, who, from what you may not know, is he had a stroke.
Everyone knows who Tim Curry is. What happened?
No, he had a stroke, and he's confined to a wheelchair for the rest of his days. Yeah. So it's nice to see that he's playing such a role in this one, and he's wearing the mask. He sort of wears, I don't know what kind of mask it was. It has this very big beak on it.
Back in the olden days, in Venice, I think it was Venice that started off, the doctors used to wear these sort of masks with a big beak, and used to put flowers in there for perfume, because they used to work in some sort of clinic where it was very smelly of all these decaying bodies and leprosy and stuff. So it used to be a way to put a fragrance up their nose instead of smelling all the dead stuff.
Anyway, so he talks about, he kind of tortures and burns the guy in a sort of one of those electric chair traps.
Yeah, electric chair, really groovy.
A little bit like something out of a Saw scene.
Mr. Saw would be happy.
And she's got this noose around her neck, indicating that she might get hanged, but we don't see it happen.
No.
Then we get a bit of more credits where we see them having a separate credit line, obviously dedicated to them, which could be the fact this would have been a short film to
it could have been used
audiences.
as a pitch for the funding. I don't know. Yeah.
I like to think it was, and throughout the credits, you get a bit of a glitch effect throughout the credits, not just.
Yeah, they did it to continue the effect of it.
Of course, it's a little difficult to read for some people who are trying to read the credits and find who's did what, obviously. Of course, so that's Stream. And as I said before, we're doing this in honor of Tony Todd because he was passing. But it's great to actually check out such movies with such a familiar list of well-known actors that have been around for, say, so many years.
Yeah.
And have made a big name for themselves.
Exactly.
So moving on, I'd like to know what the review count on this
Well,
one
I
is.
will do the review in a minute, but here's something I didn't know.
Okay.
In September 2021, Michael Levy stated that over 90% of the film had already been shot.
Oh, okay.
But then along came COVID.
Oh, that's a drag.
So a lot of things put on the back burner, and there's actually other costs incurred, and so it's taken a couple of years to get back on track and to actually finish off the film and get it released.
And it will be a pain for some people out there who have to wait this long.
Yeah. Anyway, cool. It was good, something new and fresh and something nice. Now, the release and everything else, and critics and stuff. Okay, here we go. Reception. You like this, guys. Rotten Tomatoes. I like Rotten Tomatoes. 93% approval rating based on 15 critics. So, obviously, definitely positive. Dennis Harvey from Variety wrote, at 2 full hours, Stream inevitably begins to feel overextended after a certain point. I don't think so. It was long enough. It went any further, I'd say yeah, but obviously you're waiting. They didn't want to say, okay, line you guys up, wham, bam, thank you, man. They want to sort of build the story of the chase around it as well and trying to escape. And yeah. But hey, there wasn't that many people involved when you think about it. There was a husband and wife and the 2 kids, and there were 3 teenagers.
You have the newlyweds.
The newlyweds and the married couple, and the hotel lady and the maintenance man. So I mean, there's only about a dozen people and had to kill. You know, see that? It's okay. Now, yeah, Dennis Harvey wrote blah blah blah. Particularly when it reaches a coda that feels tacked on simply to cram in a few more guest stars. No, I wouldn't think. Oh, I don't think so. No.
I think we've crammed enough people into such a plot.
I don't think that's who he's talking about. Still, this unabashedly derivative movie makes no little pretense of aiming for the qualities it lacks. You can hardly begrudge boilerplate slasher enthusiasts the fun that they'll have with it. So he's just pretty much saying it was made for the fans, and the fans got what they wanted. Da-da.
Well, isn't that the whole point of this movie?
These guys waffle on so much, you know.
Isn't that the whole point of Stream? It's more of about.
No, you're missing the point. This movie was made to suit the fans, not to suit the reviewer.
Got it.
Yeah, that's what. But he waffles on. What this unabashedly derivative movie makes no little pretense of aiming for the qualities it lacks. Blah blah. Yeah, I'll grow up. Just talking English.
I wish people grow up more too.
No, you make a movie to suit the people who are going to spend the hard-earned cash to buy or rent a copy of it. Yeah.
And if it's not,
watch at the theatre. Yeah.
If it's got did it have a box office? I wasn't sure.
No, there's nothing.
Okay, there's no box office. But imagine the even Netflix or Shudder, they probably had a massive audience count on it.
Look,
whether they liked it or they didn't like it.
I would say, honestly, even if it only had a short run cinema and went to streaming and whatever, I think it'll make a lot of money because it's what the people want and it's really good. It's a new theme. It's not being locked down in a building, but that's been done. But
it has been done.
It's still fresh. Yeah. And that's what people want nowadays. And I keep telling people, independent guys are the way to go because they got fresh ideas. The big major players, they seem to fall back to the same old formulas a lot and say, "Oh, we'll do that. It worked last time." No, take a leap of faith and jump out there and make something new.
Yeah, the bit where the father gets killed by his own daughter. Well, I didn't like her very much because even though she was the last person saying she was playing a role, but she
coming of age sort of thing for the daughter.
It was interesting that it had a little bit of impact in that scene, obviously, where the girl survived.
Well, she came back because she felt guilty of leaving them, not knowing what was going on at the motel. Oh, anyway, irrespective, do you want to grade it?
Yes, sir. So, anyway, I'm going to rate it. It's got some interesting stuff, including interesting gore. Like, there was that scene where the guy's head gets chopped off. You don't see too many movies who do chopping head off anymore.
You see bits. Yeah, it's in some movies, but this looks quite good, and the head looks real, quite nice. What if they really killed him? No,
they probably did. He'll probably be back anyway. Anyway, so it's nice to actually see such a gore effect, and
then drilling inside people's heads and stuff. That was really cool, wasn't it?
Oh, yes.
And then into sort of guts on the floor.
Yeah. And like one scene where the guy gets his head crushed while you're watching, obviously.
That was obviously it was a
without even looking away most of the time.
But it was a fake head. But it still looked good. It looked real, and that's what you want in a film. You want the reality. And
there was that bit where when the lights go out in one scene, and you see the drunken man, getting himself mounted onto either I don't know what he was mounted to, but a pole or something. Yeah. And it was really cool when you just see his eyes moving from side to side, meaning he's still alive, but he couldn't move and he was dying.
And his wife was, what was that?
She was, let me think, what was she?
Can't remember now.
I don't remember, but I never think she died too.
But only in a couple of seconds they took care of him pretty fast. I mean, irrespective, what are you going to grade it?
I'm going to rate it 9 out of 10, obviously.
Ooh, okay.
The gore factor was cool. The storyline was interesting, and I like the fact that David's performance and Felicia's performance, even though Felicia we only seen for say a couple of minutes in this movie, I liked it that David's performance where he continues to be theatrical throughout the his scenes.
I like him. He brought art into it. His character of art, because the way art was a little bit theatrical, the way he moved and stuff. He did the same sort of thing, which that's his trademark, maybe.
I thought
maybe why not use it?
I thought he'd probably do it like The Stranger. The strangers in that other movie where you just see him, walking around just in a normal walk type of way. But I like the fact that he put himself in a different. He defies himself from the other characters in the movie, obviously. Anyway, so go on.
Oh, thank you. Well, I don't know whether to give it 9.5 or 10. I think it ticks all the right boxes. It's interesting enough to keep you going, ooh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's what you want in a film. You want to sit there going, what's going to happen next? Oh, where's that going? Instead of going, I'll go to the toilet or I'll go to the fridge and get a drink. So it's interesting enough to keep you watching it, and that's what you want in a film. And it's believable. It's good filming. Special effects are credible.
Yes.
The acting's not bad because all people did a reasonably good job.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give. I'm going to give it a 10 for a change.
Yeah. I do think David and the guys who do Terrifier, I think they're going to really go far in this industry. If they continue on the same path of
they've got
filmmaking,
some magic happening.
There's something there that mainstream filmmakers have lost.
Yeah, they've lost the innocence. That's a good word, isn't it? They lost the innocence. It's a business now. It's run by number crunchers, not artists who want to actually create something.
Well, the creativity is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I mean, if you don't have the creativity, then you don't have a product or a movie.
It can't be all about the dollars. It has to be about the art. If you do good art, you get the dollars. I've been saying that for years to different people. Yes, but you got a budget to work. Yeah, but you do. I said, I have a budget of this. How can I create my vision with that budget? You don't say, I got this budget. What can I do with it?
Oh, someone told me one time that the reason why the new Star Wars movies are failing. It was in an article I was reading, and it said the reason the numbers are not so good it's because they lack the creativity. The new ones seem to be more focused on the numbers, the budget, while in this one they were not so much as worried about the budget side to it.
No, I don't know, but when George wrote the story, it was fresh. It was George's story. George was involved with the production. He made it come to life. Now you got writers trying to do what George did.
Yeah, someone deciding
and
to tick
people
off.
who are directing it, who are being hired to direct it, but they're not haven't got the same sort of passion to bring it to life the way George Lucas did.
Yeah, as I said.
It's like an Indiana Jones, Steven Spielberg, something. The same thing. You take somebody out of the equation like that and then put somebody else in to try and copy it. It doesn't always work the same.
Yeah. Did you know that one of the writers who was trying to do another Star Wars sequel or whatever, after, with Rey, obviously that lead female character, they're trying to bring back another set of. Let me see. They ended on Star Wars 9, so they're hoping to do it Star Wars 10, 11,
whatever,
12.
Like Rocky movies, eh?
Yeah. So they're trying to do this, but one of the writers, he's dropped out. He probably had a disagreement with the story or the ideas, so he's dropped out. And I hate to think how many more people will drop out.
You'd be surprised.
Maybe it's the fact that no one's hearts are in the right place.
Yeah, it's getting stale. They need fresh blood brought in. And like I said, when Lucas left, and he wasn't even there as a consultant, it was bound to go downhill. I'm not saying bad, but they're going to lose that imagination and that spark. He's part of the chemical analysis, the chemical compound, which actually makes Star Wars Star Wars.
It's filmmakers like the guys who did this movie, Stream, I'm talking about, and Terrifier, and the lot of ones that are being produced by independent ones. They're the new. Yeah, they're the new
Spielbergs and Lucases and
John
Scorsese's
and Wes Cravens and George A. Romero's that are out there.
They're the new guys.
They're the ones who
they're going to kill it.
That will bring back the all prosthetic special effects, blood, and instead of just we'll do it on CGI and just worry about it, blah blah blah.
They're bringing new ideas in and a fresh look at an old subject or something or other, and that's what the industry needs.
It needs that type of thing.
I would like to think somebody's going to go and really turn. I mean, how to put it? Years ago, the music industry is a good example. It went from the old lounge music stuff like the old guys like your Frank Sinatra's and your Dean Martins, and you got the young guys come in doing the same sort of thing. And all of a sudden, in the early 60s, mid-60s, the music scene changed. Wango, new thing, fresh blood. All these kids came in, these garage bands came out of the closet, and the Rolling Stones and the Beatles and all the other bands over in England and the ones in America did the same thing. And all of a sudden, the music scene changed. And then, over the next, say, 10 years or so, it started to get a bit quiet, and then maybe 15 years, 20 years, disco came in. They wanted something new, and then disco started to drop out, and then something else took over. It goes on and on, and then the music industry should be an example for the film industry. It's got to change. It's got to grow or go, and some of these studios aren't growing. They're churning out the same crap. Anyway, that's just my opinion.
So that's Mike's opinion. So anyway, so that's...
Where do you get it?
Yeah, that's a good question, Josh.
Okay, it might be a bit early, but here you go. eBay, I can't find it. So it may show up there soon. By the time you listen to this, it may be out there. Amazon has it for sale. I didn't see any rental site. Again, it might be a bit on the early side. It's only recently been released as a digital thing about the 15th of October. So maybe it's in the throes of, it's only about 3 weeks ago. So hopefully next week or so, you'll see it on Amazon, eBay, other streaming services. It'll be all over the place. Well, it's probably on the streaming services now if you have a look. I mean, it might be on Netflix and different places. I got no idea.
Yes, so anyway, that's Stream. So next time on this channel, we'll either start reviewing, as we're getting close to Christmas time, I'm starting to look into possible other movies with Christmas themes.
We did Black Christmas and everything last year.
We did. So we might look at either the meme one for the next one, I think, before we before this weekend's, and maybe even Terrifier 3, which is a Christmas theme one, obviously, with Art the Clown in it.
Oh, lovely.
So we'll check those another time.
Did you wear a Santa hat?
Yes.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, very nice.
It fits in the theme, with the theme. All right, that's it from us, guys. So be sure to check this movie out.
It's a good movie. Actually, I think you guys who like slasher type movies and things like that,
and Strangers and Purge or Hostel,
you'll like it. There's enough blood, guts, and gore in it to make it interesting and enjoyable, and it's not a bad storyline.
Yes,
and the filming's not too bad. The special effects pretty good.
And it's a great way to pay tribute to Tony Todd.
Exactly. So even if it's not for anything else, watch it for Tony because he's now gone to that big studio in the sky and he's making new movies up there.
Yeah, with any luck. Anyway, that's it from us, guys. So I hope you guys have a good week, and as always, be sure to contact me if you want to us to review a movie that you like, obviously.
Exactly.
Of course, as I said, by this time next month, I'm going to probably cut off podcasting for a little bit.
Yeah, about a week or so before Christmas or something or other.
A week before the Christmas.
A week before Christmas?
Yeah, and that means I'm going to be focusing as a filmmaker from then on out. So the next year, my plans are to fill my time with being a filmmaker, then being a podcaster and film reviewer.
But it doesn't mean we won't come back in to do it maybe sometime later. But
I just
want a sabbatical.
I just want a sabbatical from the podcasting side,
so you can do some work,
so I can actually focus as a filmmaker.
But she will send a Facebookie or whatever out to everybody later on if she decides to come back online.
Yes.
All right.
Exactly. Okay. So,
yep.
But you guys can always check me out on my channel and check out my past podcasts.
We've done a few.
We've done 4 or 5 seasons, so you have plenty to peruse.
You're not wrong.
All right, that's it from us, guys. So have a good week, and I'll see you guys for our next podcast. So this is Sarah Stephenson
and Michael
saying see you guys around on Boys and Ghouls Film Review. Bye for now, and have a good week.
Bye, guys.